All right, let's dive into something you might not expect. A Denzel Washington speech I found on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's really all about embracing failure and taking risks
Yeah.
and, really owning those gifts you have. And I was
Mhm.
thinking about this, and I feel like this is going to really resonate with you, especially right now,
Oh, yeah.
as you're considering exploring new career paths.
That's true.
It's just so relevant.
Yeah, what really struck me is how he uses, like, his own story, right,
Right.
to sort of illustrate these universal truths
Yeah.
about success, and I think even more importantly, failure.
Right.
Because it's not just some motivational speaker, right? With
Yep.
this Denzel Washington talking about this.
Exactly. And one of the things that really jumped out at me was his whole idea of falling forward.
Oh, yeah.
And he even jokes about the concept of having something to fall back on. It
Yeah.
just never made sense to
Like,
him.
why would you
Why would you?
fall back? You want to
I
fold?
want to fall forward. Exactly. And I think that's especially relevant for you right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
Well, I just think, when you're thinking about making a change, it's so easy to get caught up in
Right.
what if it doesn't work
The
out?
what ifs. Right.
The what ifs. And I think what he's saying is embrace the what ifs.
Yeah, just go for it.
Just go for it.
It's so powerful, that shift in perspective.
It is.
Instead of being afraid of it not working out, you're like, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
And how can I use that to my advantage?
Totally. And he tells this great story about auditioning for a Broadway musical
Oh, wow.
early in his career at the Court Theater
Mhm.
in New York. And get this.
Yeah,
He can't sing.
he can't sing.
No, he admits it.
That's funny.
I know, right?
But I mean, it's a good reminder, right?
It
That
is.
even someone like Denzel Washington
Yeah.
has faced setbacks.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot more relatable.
It does.
You know what I mean?
It humanizes it.
It humanizes the whole thing.
Right.
And then what's funny is that 30 years later,
Oh, yeah.
he ends up starring in a play at that same theater.
Full circle.
Full circle, right.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder
Yeah.
if some of the things that we see as setbacks are actually just like setting us up for something amazing down the line.
It's such a good point.
Yeah,
It's all about perspective.
it is.
And it just reminded me of another point he made about this classic 9-dot puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
The one where you have to connect all the dots with 4 straight lines without lifting your pencil?
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
It seems impossible,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Until you realize you have to think outside the box, literally,
Right.
to solve it.
Yeah, you have to go outside of those lines.
You have to go outside those lines.
You assume are there
Yeah.
to connect them.
It's brilliant.
It is a good metaphor.
Yeah.
It's like it really is about challenging assumptions
Yes.
and those limitations we place upon ourselves. So Denzel's kind of pushing us to think, where in my life am I limiting myself by staying within those lines?
I love that.
And especially for you, exploring these new career paths,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to think beyond those traditional expectations.
Right.
What are some things that might seem out there,
Yeah.
but could actually lead to something amazing?
Absolutely. And speaking of thinking outside the box and facing your fears,
Yeah.
he paints this incredibly vivid picture of being on your deathbed,
Oh, wow.
surrounded by ghosts.
Oh, no.
And these ghosts represent all the missed opportunities.
Oh, okay.
The dreams you never chased,
Right.
the talents you let just fade away.
It's heavy.
It's powerful though, right?
It is really powerful. It makes you think.
It does.
Like about what would I regret not doing?
Yeah.
What are those things that are like whispering to me?
Yeah.
Urging me to just go for it.
Take that leap of faith,
Yeah.
What would my ghosts look like?
Wow.
It's profound. And what's so great about Denzel is he's so open about his own journey.
Right.
And he talks about how he started as a pre-med student, but it didn't quite go as planned.
Really?
He jokes about this course he took called cardiac morphogenesis.
Oh, my gosh.
He's like, I couldn't read it, I couldn't pronounce it, and I definitely couldn't pass it.
Wow.
And he even tried pre-law, then journalism.
Wow. He was all over the place.
Yeah, but his heart wasn't in it,
Yeah.
And he said his GPA at one point was a 1.8 at Fordham University.
Oh, wow.
They actually asked him to take some time off.
Can you imagine
I know.
being in his shoes at that moment?
Yeah.
Just feeling so lost?
Yeah, like, what do I do now?
Yeah. Completely directionless.
And he was only 20 years old.
So young.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. And it was at this point, where he's kind of feeling lost and directionless, that he has this incredible experience.
Okay.
So it's March 27th, 1975.
All right.
He's helping his mom at her beauty shop in Mount Vernon when something happens that like completely changes the trajectory of his life.
So wait, paint the picture for me. He's at the beauty shop.
He's at his mom's beauty shop,
Okay.
and this woman, who he doesn't even really know personally,
Uh-huh.
is just like staring at him
Oh, wow.
with these really intense eyes.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, but it's also like,
Yeah.
she's like this elder in the community and she's respected.
Oh,
And
I see.
it seems like she sees something in him,
Yeah.
a potential that maybe even he hasn't fully grasped yet,
Right.
and that she just like drops this bombshell on him.
What does she say?
She literally takes the hairdryer off her head
Oh, wow.
and says, "Young boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people."
Wow. A prophecy.
A prophecy, right?
That's incredible.
I know, and you can imagine like what that must have done for him at that moment.
Yeah. Especially coming from this respected figure.
Right, like it's not just anybody saying this, it's somebody he, kind of looks up to in the community.
Yeah.
And of course, her words ended up coming true,
Hmm.
in the most amazing way.
Through his acting.
Through his acting, through his career, he's traveled the world, he's touched countless lives and inspired so many people.
And it really shows you the power of belief.
It does.
Right.
The power of seeing potential in others.
And just that, like you were saying, that random encounter.
It can have such a ripple effect.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what seemingly insignificant moments in your own life
Yeah.
might actually hold the seeds for something extraordinary.
It's a good question.
And I think it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being open
Right.
to the unexpected,
That's nudges.
to those nudges from the universe.
Absolutely.
And, Denzel's message isn't just about,
Right.
like, achieving fame and fortune.
No.
It's about embracing the journey,
Yeah.
the ups, the downs, the detours that make life so rich.
Right. And, he makes this point about taking risks, and it's not just about
Yeah.
landing the dream job or,
Now, whatever it is.
it's about pushing your boundaries, being open to new experiences and allowing yourself to grow.
And that growth, a lot of times comes from failure.
Oh, absolutely.
He even says, like, sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going.
Yeah. Like you're not always going to get it right the first time.
Right. Life rarely follows a straight path.
Right. And those detours can lead to something even better than we initially planned.
That's so true.
It's like those GPS systems that like reroute you
Yes.
when you miss a turn.
Yeah.
Like you might have a destination in mind, but those unexpected detours can like help us discover a more fulfilling path.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And that's where the courage to embrace failure comes in. Right.
Absolutely.
It's being willing to step outside those comfort zones, experiment, try new things, even if it means stumbling along the way.
And I think what we're seeing from Denzel's story is that, failure is inevitable,
It is.
but we shouldn't fear it.
Yeah. It's part of the journey.
It's a stepping stone. Remember falling forward?
Yes. Falling back.
Using those setbacks as fuel to learn, grow, and propel ourselves towards our dreams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And thinking outside the box.
Yes.
Challenging those assumptions and limitations we place upon ourselves.
And as you're thinking about, those new career paths,
Yeah.
what outside the box options could lead to something amazing for you?
Yeah. What would that look like?
And something else that I thought was really powerful that he talked about was remembering those ghosts of unfulfilled potential.
Right.
Like, what would you regret not doing?
Yeah, that's a powerful one.
It is.
It's a call to action.
It is.
To pursue those things that are whispering to us,
Yes.
to take those leaps of faith.
Yeah, and he also talks about it doesn't matter how much you have.
Right.
Whether
Yeah.
it's money, patience, kindness, love, even the gift of long suffering.
Yeah, he has a whole list
He does.
of all these things that we might have.
Yeah.
And it's not about how many you have, it's about what you do with it.
It's so true.
It's a really powerful message to reflect on, our own talents
Yeah.
and resources and how we can use them to make a difference in the lives of others.
What are you going to do with what you have?
Exactly.
So as we're unpacking all this wisdom from Denzel, what's one key takeaway that really resonates with you? I think for me, it's that whole falling forward thing. It's just, it's so easy to get hung up on, the fear of failure. But he really turns it on its head and makes it this necessary part of growth.
Yeah, you have to stumble to succeed, right?
You do.
And what I think is really inspiring is that it's not about achieving like some grand vision of success.
Right.
It's those little everyday acts of courage.
Yeah, the small steps.
Yeah, the moments where we choose to like step outside our comfort zones,
Exactly.
even if it means we might not get it right the first time.
Right. And, he also talks about this
Yeah.
idea of connection
Oh, yeah.
and, building relationships and really nurturing your faith.
Yeah, like that support system.
Yeah, it's a reminder that you're not on this journey alone.
Right.
And sometimes, the most profound impact we can make is in those small,
Yeah.
seemingly insignificant moments
The little things.
of kindness and support.
Yeah, and going back to that story about the woman in the beauty shop,
Yes.
it highlights the power of seeing that potential in others.
Yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is a word of encouragement or a moment of belief to set someone on a completely different path.
It's amazing, right?
There you go.
And it makes you think about the people in your life and how you can do that for them,
Absolutely.
how you can offer that support.
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
One small act of kindness
Exactly.
can make a huge impact.
And at the end of the day, what he really challenges us to do is ask ourselves,
What was that again?
what are you going to do with what you have?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And I think that goes beyond just, material possessions.
Right. It's about those unique gifts and talents and resources that we each possess.
And figuring out how to use them to make a difference.
To make a difference, exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Yeah?
I'm curious, what's one small risk that you can take this week
Oh, good question.
to move towards something you're passionate about?
That's a good challenge.
It doesn't have to be a huge leap,
No.
just a small step
A little step forward.
in the direction of those dreams that are whispering to you.
Mayor, even Denzel had to start somewhere.
Right.
He faced setbacks. He stumbled.
You fell forward.
He fell forward, but he never gave up on his dreams.
That's the key.
And by embracing those failures, he was able to achieve extraordinary things.
Exactly.
And you can too.
So go out there, fall forward,
Fall forward.
and make those dreams a reality.
Yes.